name is Brother Calvin Muhammad, and welcome to another episode of what we call Beyond the Mat. I'm just your host. This show, of course, was commissioned by Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad in an effort to make sure, in particular, that people understood some of the things that take place off the mat. This particular episode, I'm grateful and honored because we're going to be talking about the International Training Conference in which we are celebrating the 29th year anniversary of. And I'm so excited for this particular conversation between, in my judgment, two titans that we have within our nation. I'm very, very honored to have an opportunity to talk to, first and foremost, my teacher, Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad, and one whom I've had an opportunity to study with since 1996. I can say a lot of this brother who has not just trained us on the mat, but who has groomed and played an intricate part by the inspiration of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and by the instruction of our beloved student Supreme Captain Mustafa Farrakhan, has aided and assisted to make sure that our training program within the Nation of Islam and now extending to outside of the Nation of Islam is on point and is being developed. I'm forever in his debt and grateful to Allah for all of his contribution. Welcome, welcome, welcome again, GM Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad.
Thank you for that. And you bring so much to the table. You bring so much to the table. Just to this whole endeavor, I'm thankful to you. You are a blessing, of course, to me in helping me with all that we have in front of us, in particular, the National Training Conference.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And as if that wasn't enough, we also have joining us a big brother to me, a brother who has impacted our entire Nation of Islam, a brother who is a wonderful and strong helper to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is one who is fighting on another level with the truth, wielding the sword. This brother, of course, hails from Muhammad's Mosque number 74 out of Indianapolis, Indiana, which, of course, is affectionately termed as Nap Town. But he is all over the country. But I am so honored to have with us Student Minister Nuri Muhammad. How are you, sir?
Oh, fine by Allah's grace. Thank you so much, Brother Calvin. I'm telling you, I'm honored to just be able to share space and time with you all this evening.
Oh man, the honor is definitely mine. And I'm not going to take up much of your time. We're going to jump right into it. First, we want to talk about the National Training Conference coming up, which is July 26th through the 28th. And with that coming up, one of the conversations that we've been having for a while now is that people's understanding of the National Training Conference. People believe that when you come, it's going to be some type of 36 chambers from the Wu-Tang Clan. You're going to get tossed around for a series of 3 days. But one of the most underestimated parts of the national training is what takes place off the mat. What goes on, of course, when we're not on the mat. And so I'm going to give this first question to our beloved Student Assistant Supreme Captain Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad. We want to talk about the national training, and I'm going to preface it by saying that you often talk about consistency. You often talk about making sure to take what you get and not allowing it to stop. So you've compiled all of this training by Allah's grace. We've had seminars on K9 units. You've had trained pilots coming to us. We learn how to work with law enforcement. You give community development. You give all of these training courses. When you put this together for these 2 to 3 days, what is your hope that the participants would get out of it? What do you hope that they do? Do you want them just to have a great weekend, or what is it beyond the training that you aspire for them to take?
Well, first, I want to just go back just a little bit when you said to Student Minister Nuri that you want to get right to it. Don't want to take up a lot of his time. Well, I actually want to take up a lot of his time because his time is so beneficial. So I'm I'm going to answer that, but I just wanted to say, so when he gets his chance, I'm just all in. I'm looking forward to it. But nonetheless, in terms of your question to me, what do I want them to get? You know, the beautiful part of this is that we don't have to want more than we are actually getting ourselves. We're getting the guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And all I'm doing is gathering people who have the same mind, the same ideas, and I open up the platform for them to share what they believe or what they have seen and gotten from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in terms of the direction throughout the year and throughout their period in time. So that's how we determine all of the things that we do. And we can't give everything, you know, we can't, we have a limited amount of time and we use that. So what we're looking for everyone to get is to be empowered by the information that we have gotten over the year and years from the minister, different aspects of our learning. I mean, we are introducing aspects of food and how to grow your food, not in just a basic, simple way, but a way that will capture your attention. But these are brothers, persons that are doing these things. We have men like Minister Nuri that is talking to men. I mean, he, in truth, I'm going to say that Mr. Nuri is used in a lot of areas. He is our resident. You know, I mean, because he talks to the men, you know, dealing with the men's only. He talks to us. He opens up our conference from time to time. He will be speaking to other aspects of training in there. So, but we have Student Minister Ilya Rashad. We have had a number of ministers who have come and shared, but it is power-packed. We want everyone to benefit from the beauty of the information, but more than anything, we want them to take it home and do something with it.
Beautiful.
That's a beginning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I'm going to swing over to Student Minister Nuri for a second. You know, it's you know, my sons and I and my wife, we watch a lot of movies, and we'll watch a movie, then we like to watch the origin story of the particular characters. And you are by far not a caricature, but I would be curious to know, you know, you are such a contributor to the national training. Can you share with us when you first learned of the national training, and what was your overall experience like that first time?
Well, you know, it was something you said about Brother Grandmaster Azziz earlier, where you talked about his consistency. And I have a saying that if you can't stay motivated, stay consistent. And your consistency will give you back your motivation. And what you have seen with our brother, Grandmaster Azziz, is that he was selected many years ago by the minister to be the national trainer of the Nation of Islam. And he's never thrown his title around or put himself into a slot of esteem. He just has been consistent and working. So I was blessed to come in. It might have been the first time, and I think we was in a little gymnasium with just a few people, and I was out there getting my wrist broken, flipped and dipped. You know, I told him I'll try, but I have a whole different style of martial arts. I'm a 3rd-degree black belt in nigger food. And you just do anything in that. So, you know, it was structured. But because of his consistency, I have watched and experienced the National Training Seminar go from what the prophet Ezekiel said in the 17th chapter, just a small cedar seed, to producing a tree with many branches, with fruit, where birds of every kind have been able to find refuge and creatures of all kinds have been able to find shade. So it has now evolved over time to become the third largest event in the whole calendar of the Nation of Islam after the Savior's Day and Holy Day of Atonement. So I've just been able to watch it go from a seed to the root, from a root to the shoot, from a shoot to a trunk, to the branch, to the leaves, to the fruit, to now you have birds, if you will, or people with wings, with knowledge of all kinds that have come and landed on this tree and are offering to the National Training Seminar their wisdom that they've learned from study and experience. So that I've been a great beneficiary of it, and I've loved to add whatever little fertilizer or water or sunshine that I've been able to put on this cedar seed that has become this great tree that all nations, all birds, all creatures have been able to find refuge under.
You need to know how to defend the greatest gift that God has given to each of us, and that is the precious gift of life. But you got to put the time in. You got to discipline your body and your mind and take the pain that you must take in order to move to the next level of physical combat. Our example must be so compelling that people want to be what we are. Because what we are is what they are. I'm under orders to take care of this. I'm under orders to treat this right, because this is the real house of God. That's right. When you eat properly, think properly, and weigh properly, you are absolutely a beautiful human being.
It's the 29th Annual International Training Conference, July 26th through the 28th. Register today at www.thevskjujitsu.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. I remember when we were in those little small spaces trying to make it happen. So GM, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to preface it with, I had a conversation with a EMT here in Kansas City, Missouri, and he had mentioned, he was talking about the homicide rate of the city. And he said something staggering to me. He said that 70% of the homicides in our cities could be prevented if people had a basic understanding of first aid, if people knew how to stop the bleeding, if people knew how to do basics, just basic things. 70% of the people who get hit in the homicides here in the city would survive. And that leads into the next question about preparation, because it takes preparation to get that knowledge. When we're talking about preparation, which is what the national training really is all about, can you talk a little bit about the mindset between one who is eager or willing to prepare versus one who had not gotten there yet, who has not started the preparation process in the way of training?
Well, I would first say, you had mentioned in the point that you're bringing the first, if we knew first aid, I want to say the real first aid is not dealing with a wound that has already been opened. But the first aid is dealing with the mind that has not been opened, that we affect that in effect, that we can then affect the aspect of the open wound, because we will have less if we did what the minister has given us to do. If we began to focus on changing the condition of our people's thinking, then we can change the actual results that's happening to them right now. So when we're talking about preparing one's mind, you see, we have to prepare, we have to get ourselves prepared to understand, like, it's not so much just coming to the national training and wanting to learn self-defense, learn how to, as I mentioned, deal with food. It's understanding the reason for it will help us to prepare our minds, because we're not truly understanding why we really need it and what is on its way. So I'm saying that we have to prepare ourselves as we are listening to the word of God, when we're listening in our mosques and our study groups, and it's being given to us. We have to see past just simple words or or in our simple view of the words, because in the word there's something that we can crack open and help us to inspire ourselves to do better, to be better. So I'm just saying that, in terms of getting ourselves ready, you have to get ready to see more than what the normal person will see, because there's so much in. And if you can come in and unwrap it, oh my God, you're going to leave with so much. And that's some of the issues that we have. There, not so much that we have, but many that come. It's so much that they get. And then if they're not documenting it like they should, they leave with a great deal of spirit, but they don't necessarily leave with everything that they need, or all that they need. So I don't know. I hope I answered the question or came close to it.
You knocked it out the park. And so thank you, sir. And that leads me to you, Brother Student Minister Nuri. Just a little insight in regards to our first encounter, you and I, a long time ago. It was actually at the trial of Mike Tyson in Indianapolis. And you were on your way to post in that encounter, right? And I bring that up because you have always been a soldier, right? It's not something that has started, when you became a student minister. You've always had a certain bearing about yourself, a sense of urgency, a certain discipline. Now, I bring all that up because, as the GM always teaches us, that to develop in any sense of the word, there's some phrases that you always use when you talk about words leading to thoughts, thoughts leading to results. Can you extract for us regarding the mindset for training, whatever the field of training is? Because I would assume that you put yourself under a certain training to develop to get to the point where you are. Is there some similarities that you can extract that are universal, whether you're on the mat, whether you're on the rostrum, whether you're running a marathon or whatever the case is, but why you should submit to some type of training because of the similarities or the important jewels within just being trained?
Wow. Well, all praises are due to Allah. I was 17 years old in processing on my way to Hope Post.
Yes, sir.
To the high school, but all praise is due to Allah. Suffice it to say this, the minister said this, that for every physical law there is in the universe, there is in nature, its spiritual counterpart. We just left and we had a conversation with some parents, and I was sharing with them the two different ways that Black parents and white parents put their children in the sports. And I said, one of our biggest problems as a people is we give too much honor and praise to athletics and not enough to academics. One. Number two, when we put our children into sports, we put them into the sport to become a professional at it. But white people put their children in the sports to extract the principles from it, because they know that teamwork, discipline, working through fatigue, sacrificing fun for things that will increase your ability and the ability to categorize the problems of life to still perform well on the field or on the court. These are transmutable principles that can go from basketball, football, and into life. So when Black children go to school, because they are just in sports, they've been programmed to become a professional at it. And if they don't make it to the league, if they don't make it to the NFL, then their spirit is broken, their dreams are shattered, and you see them off somewhere drinking, smoking, selling dope, or incarcerated because that was their all in all. But white children, they don't go to the league either. They don't go to the NFL either. But because they went not to become a professional at it, but to extract the principles from it, they take the teamwork, the discipline, the working through fatigue, the categorization of the problems of life to still perform well on the field or the court. They take that to their insurance company, to their dental practice, to their law agency, to their franchises. And now they are able to convert spiritual principles that they learn from a physical activity into life to become more successful. I submit that what you gain from martial arts is superior to what you'll gain from volleyball, tennis, basketball, football, or any other physical endeavor. So if we come to the martial arts training, if we come with the mindset that these are transmutable principles that I'm learning on the mat, that I can take off the mat and use them in building a better home, building a better life, increasing my business, working as a savior of my people, then we will be able to convert the physical principles that we got from the exercise of martial arts to spiritual principles that we can use in life. And yes, you can come and on the mat, learn the new good handhold that might be able to make your opposition tap out. But you'll also at this seminar be able to come and learn a good mind hold that will be able to make envy, jealousy, self-hatred, gossip, backbiting, lust, and lying. You can make it tap out. And in this case, whenever they start tapping your leg, don't let up. Go ahead and break that arm and get rid of envy, jealousy. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But that's the great beauty of this display. It is superior to all other physical activities because it is a combat training that employs spiritual principles such as patience, perseverance, discipline, etc. So you can take this thing and what you get on the mat, you can take it off the mat and use it like white children do. And you can get your dental practice, your law firm, your insurance agency, and your franchises up and moving and prosperous just from what you get from this great national training seminar.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I almost hate to say this, but we're gonna wrap this up. And I'm gonna ask a final question, and then, of course, if I may, Grandmaster, I'm gonna pitch it off to you, and then Student Minister Nuri, if you could wrap us up with this final thought. You know, this year is the 29th anniversary of the International Training Conference. And if I could preface this by saying every year when we have this national training, when you, Brother Student Assistant Supreme, when you bring us together, you move very carefully, right? you make sure that you take the lead in regards to what the tone is going to be from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you make sure that as you are putting things together, you get instructions, clear instructions from our student supreme captain. I'm saying that as I lead into this last question, this year's title is The Handwriting is on the Wall, Training to Improve, Empower, and Survive. If you don't mind with your final thoughts, can you give us some insight into that title?
Beautiful. All praises are due to Allah. Well, the handwriting on the wall is something that is saying to us, read me, read, understand what this is all about, you know. And, you know, it's a not historic, it has history running all the way into future and present tense. So when we look at that and we look at the handwriting on the wall, the question is, what are you doing in this writing? Because you're also on the wall. You're a part of that that time period. You're there as well. And the question, what are we doing? So we want to look at it so that we can improve ourselves, improve our thinking, improve our actions, to aid the minister in his job. Because there's only two thoughts, right and wrong. There's Satan and there's Almighty God Allah. And the question is who is filling your mind, you know? So it was just set. In fact, I'll tell you that it's not something that I'm taking for myself in terms of saying, this is what it is. You know, I'm a team person and we got the team together. And one of our sisters chose that one in particular, and we give everyone an opportunity to give what the theme is going to be for this year. And in that, we then choose. My choice was what she gave. And the majority chose the same, and we took it because that's what we felt was the best theme for going into this new into this year. So you know, so in terms of where it came from was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we believe, and we took that and we now we fashioned it so that what we bring out of it will help us to be more prepared, to strengthen ourselves, and to be able to survive in this time period. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to go ahead, Brother Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, with the final thoughts on our title. Handwriting is on the wall. Force training to improve, empower, and survive. What are your final thoughts?
Well, of course, you know, we have been blessed with a man that we can calculate time off of. And there's in the book of Ezekiel, there's in the New Living Translation, there is a text in the 35th chapter where it talks about a son of man connected to a date of September 17th. And we know that's the date the minister received his more than a vision experience. But it called this son of man a watchman on the wall.
Yes.
And
yes.
if you look at the word watchman, beautiful. If you separate it, it's watch and man. So if you invert it, it's a man that is a watch. So what do you use a watch for? You use a watch to tell the time. So when you have a man that's on the wall, that is the object you can study to know the time. And he just in Savior's Day talked about the handwriting on the wall from the 5th chapter of Daniel and Belshazzar. And the handwriting on the wall, as he said then, it has become a phrase or an idiom that is used at the last phase of warning of something unpleasant or something is going to happen, and a thing that you are talking about is going to cease to exist. So by the fact that the minister put it out in the atmosphere, and he is the man that is the watch that you can tell time off of, then it's only right for a conference on national training to second his motion. And we are the soldiers of Muhammad. We are the soldiers of Farrakhan.
Yes.
So when he says we are the and it squad to produce the is. So if he put it out there, he said B. Now we have to get together with the nuts, the bolts, the training, the seminar to produce the and it so that the is can happen. And as Brother Azziz said, we don't want to be caught up in the ones that are being the victims of the interpretation of the handwriting on the wall. Because what caused Belshazzar in Daniel 5 to receive the handwriting on the wall that let him know that his kingdom has been weighed in the balance and has come up wanting is the fact that he had become disrespectful, disobedient, and defiant to God. Well, how do we escape being the victim of ourselves being weighed in the balance and coming up wanting? We cannot be disrespectful, disobedient, or defiant to the God we believe in. So this is, to me, in my humble opinion, I don't think that there could have ever been a better title or better theme, because the minister put it in the atmosphere, and he is that watchman on the wall that can read the handwriting on the wall. So since he's that one, it's only right that his and it squad put it in motion to make sure that the is becomes a reality. Let them go down. Let them fall, this mystery Babylon. But we are, as he said, we are those golden cups that have been defiled, that's inside of this mystery Babylon. And we got to get cleaned up so that we can escape the God that's coming to judge the victims of the writing on the wall. We want to be on the other side of the wall, saying, man, we've been obedient, we have submitted, and we have been supportive of the God, not defiant to the God. So I don't know of anything we could have done better, Brother Calvin, than to have the handwriting on the wall as a theme for this great national training seminar.
Beautiful. Man, that is beautiful.
Awesome.
And as they say, that is a wrap. Thank you both immensely for all that you both do. And I know your schedules were tight and busy, but you know, the nature of what you all do is work and sacrifice. So we appreciate it. I want to encourage everybody watching this to make sure that you register. The information is on the screen, www.thevskjujitsu.com. There's no training like this in the world that is dedicated to our people, preparing us for what is to come. If I could put it in the words of the great philosopher, Kendrick Lamar, they're not like us. And so just make sure that you tune in and you join us July 26th through the 28th. This has been another session conversation with Beyond the Mat. I'm your host, Brother Calvin Muhammad. Thank you all for your time. We'll see you later on this month. Thank you, brothers.
Praise be to Allah. Thank y'all.
Praise be to Allah.
I'm going to a training conference. Of course I'm learning how to defend and protect myself. International Training Conference. Of course I'm being trained by certified black belts.
I'm going to the training conference. Of course I'm not too old to start training.